Reset. We have got a treat for you. Great to have all of you here today. I'm going to look inside my magic crystal ball just like Mr. Rogers. And I'm going to see who I see out there, out in Funland. And I see Mark and I see Lisa. What's going on, Mark and Lisa? How you doing? I got Paul. I got Frosty. We got Jasmine in the house. What's going on, Jasmine? Great to have you here. All right. And we got Matt as well. Great to have you, Matt. You like it? Okay, it's going to be good. Yep. What's going on, Beth? What's going on, Buff? Buff. Good to have you, man. All right. We got some stuff to talk about today, okay? Monday Mindset Reset. Welcome to those of you who are new, or if you're watching the replay. Welcome. Mindset Reset, Monday Mindset Reset. We got Monday Madness, okay? This is like the SmackDown, like the WWE SmackDown. This is the Monday SmackDown, but it's the Madness Mindset Reset. And here we go. So what do we got going on in the headlines right now? Well, we've got Trump versus the Pope. President Trump versus the Pope. What in the hell is going on? Guys, put in the chat, okay, what you think. I got a poll up already. 9 votes already. Is President Trump acting a bit, quote unquote, off? Okay, even for him. 89% of you so far, 9 votes, have said yes. 11% have said no. I want to see what you guys think, okay? We've got all the way from, first of all, President Trump versus the Pope. What is going on with the president? He posted something it's almost so connected. It's uncanny how connected the AI post that Trump posted of himself depicted as Jesus. Did you guys see this? Put it in the chat. Give me a 1 in the chat if you saw this. If you saw this AI post, it blindsided me today. I was planning out my show here and getting everything set. And all of a sudden, I was like, what? As if it couldn't get any kookier. Okay, and then all of a sudden, he's having a fight with the Pope. I don't know which one started first. I'm sure the fight with the Pope started first. I'm almost positive. And then, I got to say it. How stupid can you be to post yourself as Jesus? You're fighting with the Pope. You're a world leader saying you're Christian. Okay, guys, I said it before. I'm politically independent. I've been a coach for a long time. Executive coach, leadership, life coach, business coach. Okay, all those things are ultimate strategist, overall strategist. But I've been a varsity football coach. I've been a Division I linebacker coach, okay, assistant. I've coached Little League. I've coached all kinds of stuff, okay? And here's the thing. When you do something stupid, you tell your players it's stupid. So, as a citizen, a concerned citizen, and like I said, someone who, I don't dislike President Trump. I think some of this stuff lately is not smart. I think there's a lack of strategy. And I think this is absolutely stupid. This post, it's all fun and good, some of the stuff he did, poking fun at the other political leaders in Congress. But, come on now. This is like you're messing with people's religion. And from praise be to Allah to this latest one. If you haven't, guys, and did you put a 1 in the chat? Let me see. If you haven't seen this yet, I'm going to put it up right now. Let's take a look. And Nate on Valhalla did a great job already. He already has a video out about it, so he's got a deep dive. Watch that thing. Check out Nate's. But let's go ahead and take a look at what is the piece of evidence that we are concerned about right here and now. What is going on? So this is out there. Okay? And this is kooky. This is freaking kookiness. I don't care what anybody says to me. You know kooky. I know kooky when we see it. This is nutso. Okay? So I'm going to cast my vote as no. Is President Trump acting a bit off? I say yes. Okay? And I don't know what's going on, if it's fatigue or if he thought he was joking, but you can't joke with things like this, right? And so let's deep dive into this a little bit, and let's see what has recently been said. And now you take a look. Tell me how you think he is right now, okay? I believe Nate covered this in his last live stream a bit. I'm observing. I didn't even get to see Nate's amazing live stream for this portion. I love his stuff, but I didn't get a chance to see what he said. I know some of you have seen it. But I'm just basing it on my own observations. And let it hit you, what you think. And let's see. Here we go.
Mr. President, did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, "How did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor, making people better."
He now says you owe Pope Leo an apology.
And also he's fighting with Pope
because
Leo. So you tell me, guys, you put a 1 in the chat if you think this is President Trump as a doctor. And you put a 0 in the chat if you think this is supposed to be President Trump as Jesus or like a religious deity, like a godlike figure. Okay? 1 if you think he's a doctor. Doctors don't have light coming out of their hands that heals people when you touch their heads. This is like, faith healing stuff. But the red robes, who else wears red robes? Oh, I don't know. Maybe Jesus in the pictures that he has, right, out there, and all the depictions of Jesus. You guys tell me what you think. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, okay? Sorry, not sorry. Yeah. Okay. 0, 0, 0. Frosty says 1. Okay, Frosty, you think he looks like a doctor. Got you, brother. Unless you're picking the wrong one. A doctor, LOL. Yeah, propaganda. I agree. I mean, I just don't know. Sorry, not a 1. Okay, Frosty, got you. And anyway, this is, choose your own adventure chat in here. You guys are the best chat on YouTube. Welcome. Anyone who's new here, we got the best chat on YouTube. Come in, hang out. Everybody's super cool in there. You can agree to disagree. You can argue. You can debate. And everybody keeps it above board and keeps it real, and it's super amazing. So welcome. Great to have you here. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and tell your friends to get in here. We're going to have a good time tonight. This is going to be a good one. Okay, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And so, yeah, I mean, this just doesn't look like anything to do with the doctor. I mean, come on. All he had to say is, I was joking around. I thought it was funny. That's it. But why lie? Why say you thought it was a doctor? Come on. With all these, all these angels and stuff flying around you, light coming out of your hand, it's just kooky, okay? Let's take a look at this. Trump bows to pressure, deletes Jesus' post of himself after outcry. U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday deleted a social media image apparently depicting himself as Jesus after an outcry from religious leaders that he was being blasphemous, okay? Like, he's lost some people with this, with this little goofiness right here. The image posted on Trump's Truth Social platform showed him in flowing red and white robes touching the forehead of what appeared to be a sick man with light shining from his hand and head. An American flag waved in the background while various figures gazed up at the president in reverence. The AI picture was posted late Sunday and removed Monday. Asked about the post, Trump said, "No, I thought it was a doctor. It had to do with the Red Cross. I do make people better. I make people a lot better." Okay. So, as things went, then, President Trump was getting in a bit of a battle with the Pope. Okay? And so, let's hear what that's all about right now.
President Trump says he's not a fan of Pope Leo XIV.
Why? I want to know why.
The first American pope has criticized the war in Iran multiple times without naming the president. Over the weekend, the Pope suggested a, quote, delusion of omnipotence was fueling the conflict.
Ooh.
The president posted this last night.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Leo's weak on crime, weak on nuclear weapons does not sit well with me. Leo should get his act together as Pope, use common sense, stop catering to the radical left, and focus on being a great Pope, not a politician. Trump.
What in the world is that about? Like, literally, no one does stuff like that. No one gets into, oh, wait a minute. Maybe they do. Maybe in history, there's some examples of people, I should say world leaders, who have done similar things and gotten in fights with religious leaders. Who could these people be? Well, let's take a look and let's see. Leo's weak on crime. This sounds like he's not running for office. He's not running for U.S. office. I just don't understand What's he talking about? What? This doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. And so let's see, though. Take a little trip down memory lane, just like we did the other day. Let's see who else got into big battles with religious leaders. Because if you heard what she said, this is very telling. I'm going to replay it again because I thought this was really very, very powerful what this anchor is saying. Okay, let's listen.
Was fueling the conflict.
Here we go.
Without naming the president, he's not a fan of Pope Leo XIV. The first American pope has criticized the war in Iran multiple times without naming the president. Over the weekend, the Pope suggested a, quote, delusion of omnipotence was.
Delusion of omnipotence. Okay? I've heard things before, megalomania. I've heard all these things for reasons why we lurched after Greenland, threatened for Greenland. We got so involved so fast with Iran. Okay, now, again, Iranian regime has done a lot of bad stuff, a lot of attacks against U.S. service members. No love lost there. Problems with the nuclear program, terrorist attacks, terrorist regime, all those things. Got it. No doubt about it. Okay. At some point, someone's going to go and break their stuff. Okay. And do some level of destruction to them. But this is probably the 10th time I've heard this. All right. But now it's coming from Pope Leo. Now, just so everyone's aware, when the Pope talked to President Bush, trying to convince him not to do the invasion of Iraq, it was a very different conversation, okay, than this. So, because there was also an attack on the homeland from a terrorist organization, from Al-Qaeda, all right, for the 9/11 attack. So, a very different conversation, just saying don't do this or other ways to do it, blah, blah, blah. End of the day, President Bush, we all know how history went. He did not listen. He did what he had to do. So, again, who else in history has had some big battles with the clergy and with the church, in particular the Christian church? Oh, what? Guys, I kid you not. I put it into AI research and I ask these questions. And this is what comes up, okay? This isn't me off the top of my head. I'm like, okay, I'm going to leverage what I have here. And I suspected this already. I knew enough about, these fascist regimes for Mussolini and for Hitler that they had done these things. But Hitler literally almost tried to destroy the Catholic Church and all Christian churches because he thought it made them weak. It made their people weak, okay? So we got that. Let's get the drum roll going again. As the drum roll, I think, was very effective last week. Here we go. Drum roll. Who else had big battles against the church? Oh, Comrade Stalin, who literally imprisoned, liquidated, killed the Russian Orthodox Church clergy, put them away, tried to stamp it out of existence until right before World War II, or right in the beginning, early stages of World War II, he revived it to unite the people and give them purpose. He was using it as a tool, okay? If you ever heard of what Stalin used to say, and Marxist and Marxist thought on religion, and Lenin used to say, is that religion is the opium of the masses, okay? So this is the way they thought about it, right? Major clashes, but not just clashes, but Hitler and Stalin were horrible, tried to stamp out the church as well too, okay? But treated them as opponents and as threats, as competitors for power. Let's see. Who else? Who else had problems with the church? Let's see here. Oh, you guessed it. Our old friend Saddam Hussein, in his hanging trial, best of a suit and the crazy look in his eyes there. Not so confident as the picture I posted on Friday of him. But he too tried to murder and imprison Shia clerics who opposed his rule, his totalitarian rule, okay? So also on, the other side of not just Christians, but Muslims as well. Dictators are dictators. They don't care. They put on the wolves in sheep clothing. They will use whatever suits their needs to get the job done and to keep them in power, right? So he imprisoned and killed clerics and clergy as well, okay, who opposed him or didn't agree with him. And let's see, who else? Who else had these kind of battles? Let's see. Oh, you guessed it, but wrong. Genghis Khan actually had such supreme power that he didn't have any disagreements with almost anybody, okay? He was probably one of the most powerful men ever to walk the earth. They say today in terms of wealth, he probably was the richest man to ever live, possibly. Okay, I've seen some of these things. Elon Musk have him beat out later on. Elon Musk might beat him out a little bit later, but as of some of the studies and research I've done, Genghis Khan was so powerful that he was very tolerant of religion. He was very tolerant of many other ways of thought and doing things. As long as tribute was paid, as long as you acknowledged him as the supreme ruler, and fell in line, he let you have your way pretty much. Okay, so interesting. But Genghis Khan was not someone that clashed with religious leaders. He didn't clash with really anybody because I think he wiped everyone out before. Possibly that's it. All right, let's see. Who else do I have in here? Who else had clashed with religious leaders? You got it. Henry IV. Yes, that Henry IV, the famous one. Band of Brothers. We happy few. We band of brothers. That guy, right? Big clashes because he was having clashes with the Pope, who was trying to say that he had more power than the king and all those things. Again, it came down to real political power, real clashes. And let's see who else in history has had real clashes with religious figures. Okay, it's not that uncommon for it to happen. It happens because leaders feel challenged by the person that has this transcendental legitimacy and authority that goes beyond borders, beyond politics, and it really seeps in deeply into the people, right? Because if religious leaders don't support a leader trying to take political power, you're not going to get the people behind you. One of the most important things for gaining and maintaining power is popular support. If you don't have the popular support, you're not going to control the people, and you risk rebellion. You risk another leader rising up that does have the support of the people, popular support of the people, so on and so forth. All right, who else? Let's see. Who else in history had problems with the religious figures? You guessed it, Napoleon Bonaparte, Emperor Napoleon. In fact, in history, Napoleon would not let the Pope crown him. All the emperors were crowned by the Pope in Europe. All the kings crowned by the Pope. It was a big deal to say that the direct representative of God, as the Catholic Church says, the direct representative of God on earth is crowning you, okay? Napoleon's like, yeah, forget that. I did this, okay? Like Snoop Dogg, right? Snoop Dogg saying, I want to thank me. Napoleon said, I want to thank me, and he put the crown on his own damn head. He said, nobody's going to crown me but me. So in a very famous gesture of his own, self-help, personal power, personal growth stuff, the original Tony Robbins here, Napoleon Bonaparte, put the crown on his own head, if you can believe it, right? But people back then were like, oh my God, this is crazy. He put the crown on his own head. But there's more. You think we're done, but wait, there is more. There is more. And who else in history had a problem with the clergy? You got it. Oh, wow, Billy Clinton here. He had some problems with the clergy, okay? Most of it was because of his policy on abortion and his abortion rights and things like that and, women's rights. And he clashed with the clergy on that, but I got a sneaking suspicion there was a few other reasons as well, very famous ones, and such as probably the stuff going on with old Monica Lewinsky. Although the Epstein files now makes that look like, I hate to say it, I won't say it. I was going to say makes it look very trivial. Let me put it that way, okay? I almost said it the wrong way, such as child's play, but that was a bad joke at the time. All right, guys, if you didn't vote in the poll, vote in the poll. Is President Trump acting a bit off, even for him, right now? We have 27 votes in 41 minutes. 96% say yes, 4% say no. Once more, if you haven't seen the main piece of evidence we are discussing today in this first part, okay? After this, we're going to get into the art of war, the negotiations, the blockade of Hormuz, okay? And then I'm going to leave you guys with the Monday mindset reset. The world is on fire. All these things are happening. You're going to need a reset. What do you focus on in order to move forward and kick ass this week, no matter what is happening? And I got that for you, okay? So this is the AI image in question today. This is Exhibit A. This is our piece that we are discussing. President Trump depicted as Jesus, healing with light coming out of his hands, Everyone looking to him like he is the savior. Okay. Now, did President Trump make this? No, someone else did. But he posted it. He took it and posted it. Okay. Dumb move. A lot of people saying it's blasphemy. A lot of people feathers ruffled up. President Trump shrugged it off and said, I thought I was supposed to be a doctor helping somebody. I'm helping people. Who knows what's inside his head? But given everything that's going on and the fight against the Pope right now, probably not the smartest move. Okay, let's keep listening here to what is going on with this battle with the Pope.
Conflict. The president posted this last night. Unfortunately, Leo's weak on crime, weak on nuclear weapons does not sit well with me. Leo should get his act together as Pope, use common sense, stop catering to the radical left, and focus on being a great Pope, not a politician. Trump then doubled down.
I don't think he's doing a very good job. A Pope that says crime is okay in our cities, I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime. He's a man that doesn't think that we should be toying with a country that wants a nuclear weapon so they can blow up the world. I'm not a fan of Pope Leo.
Well, apparently Iran has time. I mean, they're in a ceasefire that's failing, and they can't control their own Strait of Hormuz. It's not theirs. It's international waterway, but they said it was theirs. Anyway, the Iranian president posted this message to the Pope.
Ooh, Iranian president getting out, wasted no time getting ahead of this one. He's like, I condemn the insult to your excellency on behalf of the great nation of Iran. Getting ahead of him on this one. So a lot of this comes from, and you might be wondering this, right, as I was, but a lot of this is coming from as well, when President Trump posted that kookiness on Monday about a whole nation, a whole civilization will be wiped out, okay, never to rise again. When he said that, he was condemned by so many world leaders, so many people. And the Pope basically said, yeah, this is a delusion of omnipotence and megalomania and all these things for someone to say this. You can't say these things, right? We talked about this on Friday. And so that's why Trump's saying he doesn't think we should be tangling with them, all these things like that. Well, the Pope is always going to push for peace, right? That's his thing. This is his shtick, right? His thing is we're going to try and go for peace. He can't be on the sidelines. Well, they did in the Crusades. I know that. In the Crusades is a whole other ball game. We could do a deep dive on that too. There was a whole lot of go down there and make good on our promises, boys. Go get them. Take back the Holy Land. But that's not today's Pope, right? Today's Pope is saying, and many popes before him for the modern era are pushing for peace. And so, to think that the Pope is going to call for military action, things like that. It's just, I don't know. It's just kooky. That's why I have this question in the poll. Like, do we think that everything's okay right now with the president? How can't you just shrug this off and be like, okay, whatever. I'm the leader of the United States and we're doing what we got to do. I understand what the Pope's saying. Got you. And drive on. Gosh, I feel like I got to be President Trump's executive coach here. They got to hire me. I can make some changes and help them out a bit. So, staff, administration, if you're listening, contact me. I'll give you guys I'll give you a good offer, and then I'll come in there and I'll rearrange some stuff. I'll make it good. All right. Anybody know anybody? Let them know. I'm here. I'm ready. All right. Let's listen a little bit more to this.
Condemn the insult to your excellency on behalf of the great nation of Iran. Chief religion correspondent Lauren Green has more. Lauren.
Hey, Harris. Well, a conflict's been brewing for weeks between Pope Leo and President Trump. They've been trading subtle barbs over war and immigration, but the Pope is increasingly outspoken. And over the weekend, as you saw, Trump launched a direct hit. Last night, President Trump unleashed a diatribe against Pope Leo in a lengthy truth.
Okay, so it's been brewing on for weeks, right? Brewing for weeks. You guys put it in the chat. You probably know more about it than I do. Give me a one in the chat if you guys knew that this battle between the two of them has been going on for weeks. I had no idea. Let me see here. Let's see. I see. I can make better than above. Let me see. Anything in the chat? Let's see here. Hey, Joe Saunders, what's going on, man? Good to have you. Appreciate you. Right. Mars 1450 brings up a great point. Weak on crime, says the guy covering up the worst child sex trafficking network we know about. 100%. It's nutso. Thank you. It's nutso, right? Call it like we see it, okay? It's nutso. I agree. Damn. A freaked out. Yeah, devil dog. It's nutso, man. Yep. It's nutso. Yep. A lot of kooky stuff. Has arrived. Trans Tim Kennedy. What? I don't even know about this. What in the world? Super Slam, what's going on? Good to have you. Trans Tim Kennedy, how you doing? Let's see who else we got in here real quick. Star, what's going on? Good to have you. All right. Don't want Shady Vance instead, right? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think JD would get away with half this crap either. I think you're right. I think JD Vance seems pretty damn straight laced. I'm not impressed. It's just tough because the administration he's working in. But I don't know. I like Marco Rubio, but I don't know. Or as Paul calls him, Narcos Rubio. I like him. But again, you only know these guys as far as you know them. So actions speak louder than words. Let's see. Okay. Put any questions you guys got in the chat. I tried to see if we had anything going on there. Great to have all of you here. Let's keep on rolling. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it, Tim Kennedy. Trans Tim Kennedy, actually. It's nuts. Thank you. Okay, let's keep listening. I think it's interesting. I think it's entertaining. It's interesting. But it's important to know about, like, the head of the United States, the leader of once was called the free world, all right, is a little bit wacky right now. I just got to say it. I don't even want to say it. I'm retired Marine officer. It's hard for the words to come out of my mouth, because Marines, by and large, we're so loyal, So this has been wearing me down, though, man, And so I'm calling it like I see it. Kooky stuff going on. Let's watch some more. Guys, give me a 1 in the chat if you're getting something out of this. If you're getting some good takeaways from this, put a 1 in the chat, okay? Give me a big fat 0 if you want to move on to the next topic, okay? I just want to see where we're at here. Let's keep going. And then I'll check out the chat in a second.
Social post saying he's not a fan of the first American-born pontiff, calling him weak on crime and a terrible foreign policy. Later on the tarmac at Andrews Air Force Base, Trump doubled down on his comments to reporters.
I don't think he's doing a very good job. He likes crime, I guess. He hit us. Think of it. He's worried about.
What job is he supposed to be doing? He's not doing a very good job. He likes crime. What job is he supposed to be doing? Guys, put in the chat. What is the job of the Pope? What's he supposed to be doing? Is he supposed to be weak on crime or strong on crime? Like, what's he talking about? And actually, let's see what the Pope has to say. Actually, and then you guys tell me in the chat, but let's hear what the Pope has to say. And here he is. Actually, here he is. He'll tell us.
The message of the gospel is very clear. Blessed are the peacemakers. I will not shy away from announcing the message of the gospel.
Okay, so he's saying the message of the gospel is very clear. Blessed are the peacemakers. I will not shy away from the message of the gospel. Okay, so he's saying, this is my mission statement, right? I'm on a mission from God, right? He's on a mission from God, and you can't shy away from that, like the Blues Brothers. That's what he's saying. Let's listen.
I'm inviting all people to look for ways of building bridges for peace and reconciliation, of looking for ways to avoid war anytime that's possible. To put my message on the same plane as what the president has attempted to do here, I think it's not understanding what the message of the gospel is.
Yeah, he's saying to put my message on the same plane, like he's on like the divine plane. You know what I mean? He's like on a whole other world. He's like, out in the spirit world. And President Trump's trying to talk like he's like some common politician. He's weak on crime, doesn't think we should attack Iran. Like, what's he talking about? Again, that's why I have the question in the poll, which is asking all of you, smartest chat on YouTube, right here, right now, is President Trump acting a bit off, even for him? If you haven't answered, if you haven't given us a response in the poll yet, please do. 84% say yes, 14% say no. I want to see what you guys think, okay? It's kooky. Yeah, the Pope is not a politician. Correct, Star. I agree. Is the Pope flying coach? I think so. That's a great trend, Tim Kennedy. You don't see a bar on there. This isn't Emirati Airlines, right? Emirates Airlines. There's no bar. Buff, you're right. The Pope is calling Trump a peasant. He is. Actually, that's hilarious. He is. He is calling him a peasant. Holy crap, you're right, because he's like, just to say we're on the same plane, like, you're like down there. I'm up here. Okay, that's my Pope imitation. Holy crap, you're right. Oh, I can't even say this. Holy crap. Now I'm in trouble now. We're talking about the Pope, and I'm over here saying, holy crap. I got to straighten myself out here. Look at, is he flying coach? Let's watch.
Sorry to hear that, but I will continue on what I believe is the mission of the church in the world. I do not look at my role as being politician. I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to.
I think the Pope is laying on a bed of nails in the back. Like he gives up all the seats and he sits on the floor or something. Yeah, I don't think there's a first class in there at all. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. At his age, he's probably got to recline a little bit and lay down if he's flying all over the world, or else, bye-bye Pope, something could happen. Give him the benefit of the doubt. But it looks like a pretty common plane. I don't even know if he owns a plane, although the Vatican, guys, crazy story. I used to go to the Vatican, actually. Believe it or not, that was part of my portfolio when I was the Marine Corps attaché to Rome, Italy. I used to be the representative to the Vatican as well. So I've been in all those catacombs. I've been down there, all the stuff. I've been looking for the what do you call it? Angels and demons and all that stuff. So pretty wild stuff, though. Got to go to some events at the Vatican. Pretty insane. There's definitely a part of old Europe, the aristocracy, people that are old money, that still have huge ties to the Vatican, and there's still a power structure there, believe it or not. So because the old aristocracy of Europe, believe it or not, they retain their titles at the Vatican, like princes, kings, princesses, barons, counts, countesses, all this stuff, okay? Believe it or not, I once met the direct descendant of Emperor Massimo of Rome, the Roman emperor. I met a direct descendant there. The guy was probably in his mid-70s, and his title essentially was a prince. Crazy stuff. So very interesting. I have a little bit of a backstory here and a little bit of insider knowledge on some of this stuff. So let's see. Yeah, the Pope Pat game is always on point. But the big one is something special. Ask me sometime, guys, about when I almost walked in through the door, like where the Pope goes, and the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador to the Vatican, Ambassador Diaz, looked at me. He's like, get out of here. You're about to crash. I was about to crash like a massive mass. Pretty funny. So I saw the dudes walking in there in all their outfits. I think they're the Cardinals, and there's all this smoke surrounding them. But I was in such a rush to be on time to get to this thing. And anyway, I didn't get in trouble. I didn't get locked away in the dungeon, which is what I thought was going to happen at the time. But I was lucky. No dungeon for Ben. All right, let's keep on going here. Here's some more from the Pope, calling President Trump a peasant, basically, as you pointed out.
To be abused in the way that some people are doing.
Ooh, wait a second. There's a little slap.
I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing.
I don't think the message of the gospel is meant to be abused and used in the way that some people are doing. Very interesting. Guys, what do you think about that? Put in the chat what you think he's talking about. What do you think he's talking about there? Very interesting. Star says Trump has always been off, but now he just thinks he's got away with so much he doesn't have to stop. Star, I think you're right. You said it very well. Yeah, the fish hats. That's it. Exactly. That's it, Saucy. Yep. Wrong door. Yep. Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm lucky in a lot of ways. I really thought, I'm like, they have absolute power here. Like, they might just lock me away in the dungeon. I'll be dead meat down there. Or they're going to send me off down to like Malta or somewhere. I don't know, some secret mission. Someone's going to shoot me with a blow dart in the neck, and I'm just going to die. That's what I thought was going to happen. Or it's like some secret Vatican ninja is going to pop out and throw a throwing star in my face. All this stuff. And then I got yelled at. I'll tell you guys a story. I got yelled at by this priest started yelling at me at this event. And he's like, and you like that. And I was with this guy who is like, I don't know, he's like a Knight of Malta. He's basically like a Templar knight, but he would hide it. And he's like, the United States didn't help us when we were in trouble. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, he was trying to make it public. And this is a priest. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And the guy said, come on, he's an American Marine. He doesn't know about this. He's talking about an event that happened in like 1860. You guys can look it up, where the U.S. didn't support the Pope when I think the Garibaldi Revolution happened in Italy, and they overthrew the Pope's reign to be the Holy Roman Emperor. They didn't kill the Pope, but they just said, yeah, you're done. We're in control of ourselves now. You're not the Holy Roman Emperor. So this guy was like reading me the riot act. Oh, I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about, dude. Like, come on, American Marine, modern Marine, and on top of that, I'm American. Like, we don't care. We don't recognize any of your titles. None of this stuff. No queens, no kings, no aristocrats. Don't care. Don't know. Don't care. And the guy I was with was laughing so hard about that. So let's go. Let's keep on watching how this unfolds. And now let's go back to what President Trump says. This is the he said, she said. We're going right over here. Let's hear this.
Fear.
And Trump later posted this AI-generated
Oh my
image
gosh, there
of
it is.
himself in a robe laying his hands on a man surrounded by people praying. His comments came later after Pope Leo warned in a prayer vigil for peace over the weekend of the delusion of omnipotence that is becoming increasingly unpredictable and aggressive. His Palm Sunday homily quoted the prophet Isaiah, saying God does not listen to the prayers of those who wage war. On the papal plane, beginning a 10-day trip to Algiers in Africa, Pope Leo reacted to Trump's post.
Okay. So he said, God does not answer the prayers of those who are waging war. And he said that they're delusions of omnipotence. That's why there's so much aggression taking place. So Trump fired back, took that as personal. He said, and I took that personal. And he went right after him, right? Went right in on it. And so there's been a little feud going on. But again, you don't have to say anything. No, here's the thing. Your job as a leader of the world, of the American people, most people aren't even paying attention to this. They're paying attention to what President Trump says. If he never mentioned it, never brought it up, none of us would even know. We'd be like, whatever, okay. Pope Leo didn't call him out by name, was just saying it. And so, again, okay, leadership lesson 101 is you show the size of person you are by what gets you angry, okay? This is an old saying. We would talk about it, as leaders in the Marine Corps and just in business as well. You can show people really how strong you are. You show someone who you really are and the size of a person you are. You know what I mean? Like your strength, your ability. Are you a big person, small person? By what pisses you off? What gets you ticked off? Do you flap the handle right away? Do you get angry right away all the time? Okay? Well, then you got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of insecurities, a lot of self-doubt. Maybe you're stressed out. Okay, that's real too. People can be really maxed out stressed and they can get thin-skinned. Okay? But usually the thin-skinnedness will wear you down. It'll work against you eventually. Eventually, you burn enough bridges, you got no support anymore. Okay? And so I think, you can't start attacking these people like that. Otherwise, like I said, you're going to end up like this guy or like these guys. Nobody's going to like you, or like this guy. And no one's going to, well, not like this guy. He was very tolerant, actually, believe it or not. After he cut everyone's heads off, everyone sat up and listened, right? And not even this guy. Or you crown yourself emperor, and eventually they take it away from you and they put you in exile on an island, which is truth. What happened to Napoleon, one of the greatest leaders in history. He overreached, strategic overreach, right? Got too big for his britches. And they said, thank you so much for everything you did and for 30 years of war or whatever, 20 years of war. Thank you very much. Here's your island. Don't come back. And that's how it goes. So you got all that going for you if you're thin-skinned and you're trying to fight against everybody, right? Okay, one more thing here. Let's watch this.
where he said some things I expect to hear, blessed are the peacemakers, but I also heard him say that he doesn't believe he is political. Is that fair given how he's been talking?
Yeah, I think that what he always has been very clear on is if you look in the gospel, Jesus tells us that the God's domain stretches everywhere. And so he's only touching politics where it touches core gospel values. And the core gospel value that it touches here is peace. Jesus Christ, the risen from the dead, his first words to his apostles are, "Peace be with you." Pope Leo XIV, those were his first words to the faithful. It's the core of his identity.
And I will say, today, the church's reach politically is different, right? It's way different than back for this guy, let's say, okay, for Henry IV, who really, he had to wrestle control and retain control of his armies, because the Pope could be like, "You are Christian warriors, come on the next crusade for me." And they would be like, "Well, hey, King, you get your authority from God, and he's the direct representative, so we're going to listen to him." Real struggles for power back then. Also for Napoleon. I mean, Napoleon was reigning just at the end of the French Revolution, and the terror, if you guys know the terror from French Revolution, the guillotine, where they cut the heads off of all the aristocracy. They wiped out the aristocracy, basically, in France. We're talking more or less, I wouldn't say a genocide, but a classicide, right? They destroyed an entire class of people. And then he rode the wave in on this and reestablished the monarchy as an emperor, and basically said, yeah, we're having a separation of church and state. I did this. I'm crowning me, no one else, and that's it. Okay. So definitely a different time. Now, so that's why I say for President Trump, you don't even need to acknowledge it. You don't even need to say anything. Say, "Hey, I understand the Pope's got some things," and that's it. That's it. It's like the old Kung Fu master saying, "You could have done it better." "Ah, yes, master." And move on. Right? I mean, I know he wants to have legitimacy from the Pope, but the way to go about it is not fighting with this guy. Okay, let me get to some questions in the chat. Let's see what we got in here. We get some of the questions and comments in the chat, guys. And again, the next thing we're going to be going over, we're going into the Strait of Hormuz blockade and the art of deception that I think is going on right now with this whole operation. Okay, you guys know I've told you before, I think a ground war is inevitable. Okay, has it ended yet? And here comes my next poll question. I just, honestly, like, they just got to give me a call. I got to advise these people. I swear to God. Okay, is President Trump acting a bit off even for him? 87% say yes, 13% say no. We're going to end that poll. And I got a new poll for you guys right now. Okay. And here it is. Will the blockade do anything to make Iran surrender? Because that's what we're really trying to do. Surrender, concede, and the nuclear program, whatever you want to say. I'm going to say surrender. Will the blockade do anything? Or here's the parentheses, right? Here's the implied question. Or is Ben right that the ground war is coming if we keep on going this way? Okay? Ben for president. I don't want that job. Ben for advisor to the president behind the scenes. Paid a lot of money. Why want that job? That's the job. With no responsibility for, I'm going to make him sign something. I'm giving you the best advice you want. Hey, Juan, thank you so much, Juan Wick. You're the man. Appreciate you. I want to have a disclosure saying I'm giving you coaching advice. You take it or leave it, but your actions, you're responsible for them. Okay? Blockade, schlockade. I agree. Hey, thank you, Jasmine. I have Ben and POTUS and Aaron loves me. Aaron's Sec War. Aaron's going to be Secretary of War. I agree. Ben for Emperor. Now we're getting a little crazy, but I appreciate it. We can do that. And that you guys will be the brain trust in the cabinet. The YouTube chat will be in the cabinet. We'll put the polls there, and whatever you guys say, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go do it. It'll be awesome. Yeah, I agree. Tim Kennedy. I agree. Or should I call you trans or call you Tim Kennedy? Which one? Tim Kennedy, I agree. Honestly, I think we're it's mission creep. We're going up the escalation ladder, mission creep. Because let's take a look at what does it really take to actually blockade? what is this really going to take to actually do a blockade? Okay. Because it's actually surprising. It's nuts. It's nuts how much it takes to do this. How much money, how many assets, all this stuff like that. It is a lot. Okay. So let's take a look. Like Stephen Colbert says, Hormuz news you can use that you won't snooze, or something like that. Pretty funny. But before we do that, let's listen to J.D. Vance on why the negotiations failed. This is very important. Here we go.
The second thing Gollyboff said, which again I found fascinating, is he said, we refuse to give up the right to enrichment. And I thought to myself, you know what? My wife has the right to skydive, but she doesn't jump out of an airplane because she and I have an agreement that she's not going to do that because I don't want my wife jumping out of an airplane. We don't really concern ourselves with what they claim they have the right to do.
What? Would that fit? Was that even? Poor JD. Poor JD. JD is tired after many hours of negotiation with people who won't listen, and we're going to get into this whole art of deception here in a second, okay? But what I think he meant to say is that my wife has the right to jump out of an airplane, but we have an agreement. My wife doesn't jump out of an airplane because I don't want her to, and the reason for that is I don't want her to die. So she has the right to do it, but there's a possibility she could die. That's what he meant to say. He's tired. I got it. We've all done it. We've all been in front of the camera or speaking to people or talking to someone, and you had a great thing to say, but then it just didn't connect. Okay, I'm sure I do it on here all the time. But that's what he meant. And so what he's saying is basically the regime has they were saying they have the right to enrich. He's like, yeah, you do, but not if you want to be blown up, keep doing it. If you don't want to be blown up, don't do it. Like, how can we convince you that we're real, that we're not screwing around here, okay? Let's keep listening.
We concern ourselves with what they actually do, and I think the president's been very clear on the enrichment question. Our position on that has not changed.
Oh, teen threatens to kill chicken shop worker over garlic sauce order. Right.
The second thing,
that's a whole other thing to look at. We're not going to look at that right now, though. Okay, and here's why I say this whole thing is a massive deception campaign, okay? So this is a massive deception campaign. Guys, put a 1 in the chat if you actually think that we negotiated and that our intention was to negotiate. Put a 0 in the chat if we were just buying time for the next phase of the war. Okay? Put a 1 in the chat if you actually think we were in earnest negotiating, trying to get a deal. Or put a 0 in the chat if you think we were just buying time for the next phase. We knew they wouldn't take anything. We weren't going to listen to them. It was just making us look good. We were just trying to look good, like we gave them a chance. And we did give them a chance. We really did. And they're just, honestly, they're doing what they think they have to do. We're doing what we think we have to do. I say that the Iranians are pretty stupid at this point because I think this administration is going to do what they're saying they're going to do. And unfortunately, I do think it's going to lead to a ground war. Okay? I do think that. So 1 in the chat if you think we were really trying to negotiate and we're going to give them something. We're going to give concessions. They give concessions. No, we knew it. Okay? So here we go. Sun Tzu quotes about deception. Appear weak when you are strong and strong when you are weak. This is one of his most important lessons, okay? I actually have used this before in many different scenarios. Actually in tactical fighting scenario as well too, acting like you're gassed. Oh, you can't do anything. Then you pull a really athletic move on somebody. It works, okay? Also in warfare, right? Fake you are weak when you're strong. Fake you are strong when you're weak. Very simple. Quote from Sun Tzu. Here we are. All warfare is based on deception. Therefore, one capable, feign incapacity. One active, inactivity, like you're sleeping. You're not even listening. When you're near to them, make it appear that you are far away. When far away, that you are near to him. Feign disorder. Fake it. Fake that there's disorder and chaos, and then strike them. When he concentrates, prepare against him. Where he is strong, avoid him. We talk about this all the time in the military and the Marine Corps. Surfaces and gaps. Where they are strong, it's called a surface. We don't hit surfaces, we hit gaps. We do stormtroop tactics, okay? I'll tell you, the cat's out of the bag. German stormtroop Waffen Wehrmacht tactics, okay? They are the original stormtroop tactics. You penetrate the gaps and you exploit them. You know, Juan Wick, you'll know all this. All my Marines out there, Frosty, you'll remember all this stuff. We penetrate the gaps with our full power at their weakest point. That's what we do. And then we destroy their rear areas, their weak areas, their supply train, their logistics, their headquarters, their command and control. We don't face the main troops. We get them from behind, sure, but we want to get them just to quit and not fight. Okay? So remember this always. I think one thing for sure, there's a ton of deception and confusion going on. Creating disorder and confusion, it also messes up the enemy. But the only problem I have is that if this administration, if Trump is using deception as a strategy, I think he is, but on a very high level and deep level, there's so much deception going on that it's confusing his people, which is his base of support. Okay? When there's chaos, you need to, at least at home, create a feeling of stability and calm so you don't lose the popular support. Okay? Next, Sun Tzu says, when he concentrates, prepare against him. Where he is strong, avoid him. Anger his general and confuse him. Get them whipped up, right? Anger them, confuse them. Information operations, deception operations. What do you think those Lego things are? They were sending these Lego videos to us. They're trying to get President Trump angry. They're trying to throw him off, insult him, get him angry. Pretend inferiority and encourage his arrogance. Okay? You think maybe the Iranians are using some of this? They're not stupid. They studied Sun Tzu as well. Okay? Pretend inferiority and encourage his arrogance. Okay? Now, I've seen recent reports, as over the past few days, the Iranians are starting to leak that they have possibly stockpiles of thousands of missiles and drones and suicide boats, more than we thought, okay? Because it's so hard to pinpoint all of their locations. I even saw something, I haven't run it to ground, so I hesitate even to bring it to you guys because I don't like to bring you stuff that's half-baked. This isn't a conspiracy channel, okay? I'll bring up conspiracy theories, but I'm not going to say, I'm not going to make it bigger than it is. Now, one thing I've heard is this, okay? I heard that they actually have a stockpile even of nuclear material that's weapons grade ready, okay? That has revealed itself through this effort. Because when we do these things, we put a lot of intelligence and focus on them, information, sources. I don't know how true it is. Maybe you guys have seen that. Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen something similar about the stockpiles of weapon systems like ballistic missiles, short-range missiles, drones, suicide boats. And then also, on top of that, give me like a nukes or yes on nukes, things like that, yes on nuke material, or like a little rocket symbol, something, if you'd also heard that they actually do have weapons-grade material. The way I saw it, it said they have nuclear weapons. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I think I saw this quickly. I didn't investigate it, okay? But I've heard nuclear material. It's actually, they have more refined material than we thought. And I think they're revealing that possibly during this time. And you guys tell me, okay, if you've seen the same thing. Again, I don't need to be, going crazy here, right? Let me see. Yeah, I don't know, Timothy. I don't know. I don't think so. It didn't come from Israel. I think I read it somewhere that, not from Israel. I think, I'm not sure. I don't want to lie to you, make something up, but just some stuff. Okay, 1, yes. Doc, you saw that? Okay. Got it. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's see here. Okay. Looking in the chat. Let's see here. Yep. Joe Saunders says yep. Jasmine says yep. Trans Tim Kennedy, yep. Okay. Star, Saucy. Let's see. I think they have the means to make SUD weapons, but they don't have them. I think you're right, Jasmine. This is what I'm finding out, right? So this is what I'm finding out, what I'm seeing. But I want to bring it to you guys, but not as a certain thing, okay? Because we can get all crazy. They have them, right? And we, great views, clicks, likes, all this stuff like that. That's not the point. The point is to actually get to ground truth and figure out what the hell's going on, so we can see if the right decisions are being made on our behalf, for our country, for our children, for our families, for our future, all this stuff like that, okay? Now, here we go. Some more things from Sun Tzu on deception. A military operation involves deception. even though you are competent, appear to be incompetent. Though effective, appear to be ineffective. All war is based on deception. All warfare is based on deception. Hence, when able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must seem inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away. When far away, we must believe we are near, okay? So here's another thing. All war is based on deception. We said that like 20 times now. There is no place where espionage is not used, okay? Offer the enemy bait to lure him in. This is what we've been doing. This is what they've been doing to us and to people who know things about us, okay? Espionage is all over the place. Reconnaissance, surveillance, intelligence. ISR, they call this, right? Intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. Human intelligence, cyber intelligence, geospatial intelligence, all these different things. Geospatial mean coming down from the satellites. There's so much, right? There's so much being collected on Iran. And their systems, I don't think, can do much collecting right now except for human intelligence networks that they have built. Their terrorist networks, their proxy networks, things like that. So that's how, as we crack them open, we're discovering more and more and more. All right. Hey, Juan Wick, thank you so much. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate the support, my brother. Awesome. I appreciate you. All right. Let me get over here. Let's learn a little bit more about what's going on. Okay? Let's see how we're doing with our poll right now. Poll. Will the blockade do anything to make Iran surrender? 25 votes, 13 minutes, 100% no. I agree with you. Guys, if you're new here, you haven't voted in the poll yet, please vote in the poll. Will the blockade do anything to make Iran surrender? 100% so far say no. Don't be afraid to say what you really think. If you think yes, put it in there, and then maybe even give us some justification if you want in the comments. It's up to you. Okay, everyone's really cool here. Best chat in YouTube. Actually, round of applause for the best chat in YouTube right now for you guys. If you're new here, so many times people say it's the best chat in YouTube, most intelligence chat, best chat, coolest. You can discuss, you can talk, you can listen, you can debate, all the stuff like that. Big round of applause for the best chat in YouTube. Here we go. And one more time. There we go. That's for all of you guys. You guys deserve it. Thanks for being here and for support. As always, I appreciate all of you. Put any questions you guys have in the chat. All right. And let's rock and roll on to this next one. So here we go. Why the U.S. is blockading the Strait of Hormuz amid efforts to open it, okay? Because maybe you're wondering, like me, why are we doing this, okay? Because if you guys remember, the other day on Friday, we saw, I'm going to put this up first, we saw that 7 ships actually had transited the straits. And I think that was more than had transited the straits in a month, 44 days, okay? So let's go to zoom in here. And let's see how many people are actually transiting the straits right now. Okay. Let's see. The Straits of Hormuz. Remember, Joe Saunders, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Let me get to your question real quick here. Remember, the red triangles are the oil tankers. The green are cargo ships, okay? Not too many right now going through. I just see 3 in the vicinity of the straits themselves, possibly who have paid the toll, okay, the $1 million toll. And President Trump said, yeah, no more of that. Okay, now look at the massive glut here of ships stuck there, the massive glut over here. We're going to see in a minute how many are stuck. Let me get to Joe's question really quick. Is it just me? This is Joe Saunders. Is it just me, or have they been at 60% enrichment for years, but never went all the way no matter what Bolton, Graham, and Beebe says? A tease, in my honest opinion. You might be right, brother. You might be right. I've heard the same things. And that little bit of information I saw that I'm saying to you guys may very well be deception, okay? It might very well be a lie. Probably is, okay? That's why I'm saying I'm being very cautious with saying it, because I don't want to be a propaganda guy. I'm not a friggin' conspiracy theorist, although I love the aliens and all that stuff. I don't think it's a conspiracy, though. I think it's real. We're going to do a full alien show very soon, by the way, because, you know, they're coming out with that big movie in June we got to talk about. But, Joe, I think you're right. And, guys, put a 1 in the chat if you agree with Joe, or just give him a thumbs up. Give him a like on his thing there. Okay, 60% enrichment for years. But I think I saw something with them saying that that actually Iran revealed that they have stockpile of this enriched uranium, and it's more, it's beyond, it's almost weapons grade. So I think they only need to go to 80%, right, for it to be all ready for weapons grade. Fire butterfly, war is ego, materials and materials can be, yep, good, okay. Yeah. A lot of stuff there, a lot of stuff to consider there. Yeah, that's good, Joe. I appreciate you saying that, bringing that up. So it could be right. So take what Joe is saying honestly, and you guys run it through your own AIs, run it through your, if you have Claude or you have ChatGPT or whatever, do your own research on Google, see what comes up. Okay, there might be some open source things that corroborate or support what the bit of information that I said. I don't call it evidence, it's information, and it could be totally wrong, but we'll find out, okay? But let's look at the situation right here. Why are we blockading the straits? What's going on? This is the traffic right now. Let's see who's actually sitting in the straits. It's this ship right here, the Rich Starry oil chemical tanker, China, owned by China. That puppy's not getting through, I can tell you that much. This one is not getting through. This is the first one they're going to stop with the blockade. Okay, and then right here, let's see this one. Where is this one going? Let's pull this up a little bit more. Vessel details. Let's see if we can pull some of this up and look. Okay, vessel details. Madagascar flag. They must have paid the money. Paid the money too. They're going to get stopped as well. President Trump said the Marines are going to board any ships. The Navy's going to stop any ships. Anyone who's paying the toll and supporting Iran, they're going to get the good news and get stopped. I don't think they're going to blow them out of the water like Iran is doing, but they're stopping them, okay? So that's what the current traffic picture looks like. That's what's going on. Let's see how many ships are actually stuck right here. Let's go to our straits tracker. Okay, it's been 45 days and 1 hour. The straits have been closed, very restricted. 5 ships currently transiting through the straits in the past 24 hours. Okay. 3 ships transiting now. Brent crude oil, $127.61. Guys, fact check that. Just do a quick search and see how much actually is the price of a barrel of oil right now. Because remember how I post this here? I pull this up, but it's always a different price than actually is there. Okay? So you guys tell me what you think. Aliens are real. Jasmine, I'm with you. Yes, they are. Let's see. Ooh, Saucy says the Earth rejuvenates its own oil. Interesting. Interesting. That would be a shocker, right? We'd have all these wars for stuff that just keeps coming back. We don't need to have wars for it. It'd be pretty funny. I mean, sad funny, like haha, not so haha. Let's see. Okay. $2.8 billion daily lost for the closure right now. All right, so there's a lot happening here. So let's get into this. Let's look at this closure, why the U.S. is blockading the Strait of Hormuz and the efforts to open it up. All right, so we got this blockade going, okay? We're blockading all maritime traffic at Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz. The central sticking point in the nation's marathon negotiations in Islamabad on Saturday the 11th was the United States' demand to reopen the straits. Imagine that. It wasn't even the nuclear weapons, although they said no to that. We have the right to enrich uranium, and J.D. Vance is like, we have the right to smack you down and launch missiles at you and destroy you, okay? So pretty wild. The 100-mile-long waterway connects the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. And we all know that 20% of the world's oil and natural gas supply passes through the narrow channel through the Straits of Hormuz. And let's see, where is the U.S. Navy implementing the blockade? Here's what to know. A complete lockdown of the strait to a more targeted operation focused on Iranian ports. Effective immediately, the United States Navy, the finest in the world, will begin the process of blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz, Trump said. Okay? The U.S. Central Command later said the blockade, which is slated to begin at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, would be more targeted. They will enforce impartially against vessels of all nations entering or departing Iranian ports and coastal areas. In a note to seafarers seen by Reuters, U.S. Central Command said the blockade would apply to all vessel traffic, regardless of their flag, along the Iranian coastline, in the Gulf of Oman and Arabian Sea, east of the Strait of Hormuz. The note said any vessels departing the blockaded area would be subject to interception, diversion, and capture. But vessels passing through the strait to or from non-Iranian destinations would not be affected, Reuters reported. So they can pass through if they're coming from UAE. So UAE, that is Dubai, UAE, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, all this area. Let me go back here into the map and we can take a look really quick. So any of these areas right here, where they're coming from, Iraq, Kuwait, UAE, Saudi Arabia, all along here, Qatar, that has massive oil and gas fields. Saudi Arabia, there's Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Basra, Iraq has a small slice on the Persian Gulf. There's Kuwait, Qatar, Oman. Okay, so if you're coming from the west coast, west coast of the Persian Gulf, you're good. Any East Coasters, you're out of luck. You're done deal. They're going to smack you down. They're going to take your ship from you. That is the plan from the CENTCOM commander. And I would not want to test him on that one. I'll tell you that much. Okay, let's listen to what they have to say here, talking about the blockade.
The U.S. Central Command says a naval blockade of Iranian ports in that critical Strait of Hormuz is set to come into effect right now. Remember, about 20% of the world's oil passes through this strait. The move is sending oil prices soaring and is threatening to upend global energy markets. The decision comes after peace talks between the U.S. and Iran ended in Pakistan over the weekend without a breakthrough. Iran says the move amounts to piracy and is threatening to retaliate. NATO and European allies say they don't support the blockade. They're urging for the waterway to be reopened. Let's kick off our coverage here this hour with NBC News. Senior international correspondent Matt Bradley,
who is I got to rewind 1 second. I just heard something.
And is threatening to retaliate. NATO and European allies say they don't support the blockade.
Okay, this is kooky. They don't support the blockade. NATO and European allies. Why do you guys think that is? Put it in the chat. I'll tell you what I think it is. Obviously, it's because of the oil, right? It's because of the oil. They want to make sure the oil is flowing. They don't care about what's going on with us, about the U.S. They want to make sure oil is flowing, keep the oil prices down. They don't support the blockade. Real point of contention here. To me, it's pretty surprising. I understand what they're saying, and I understand it because also, if you look, as soon as the blockade was announced and said it's going into being enforced, the price of oil went up. Gas went up, price of oil went up, all these things went up, okay? Which means we're going to have oil shocks in the economy. Price of goods and services will go up. Your price of the pump will go up. But more than that, even the cost of food will go up, okay? There's so many things that can happen. Look, we talked about this on Friday or maybe 2 sessions ago, and we talked about the fact that even Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, agrees with people when they say we're in a recession. I think many of you said we might be in a depression, right? But if this lasts for a few more months, there have been a lot of analysts that said this is going to have a massive shaping on the economy and a shakeup, possibly throwing us into a global recession. Okay? So that's probably why the European leaders are like, what are we doing? That's enough already with, blocking off the straits. But to allow the Iranians to ship their oil is a whole other thing. Okay? Maybe they didn't get the memo that the oil from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, other places will be let through. But again, now it's confusing. Even as I say this, it's very confusing. Okay, you guys put a 1 in the chat if this blockade is confusing to you. Because here's the thing, right? So we're on the far end of the blockade. We're down here, near the Gulf of Oman, right? You guys can see where the big glut of ships are, all these stuck ships. We're down here with our Navy, and we're saying, you can't pass through here. But over here, near Keshem Island, Bandar Abbas, all these little green cluster here in this big, long island that looks like, it looks like a leaf blower. The big, long leaf blower island, okay, are the IRGC's missile systems, anti-ship missiles, drones, suicide boats, all these things that will stop tankers and hurt them. They've already hit tankers this whole time. So the question I have is, because guys, I'm reacting to this honestly with you guys here. So if we're saying that all the oil from this side can get out and go through, we're going to let them through here. Got that. Okay. But what about this gate that the IRGC controls? We have no control over that. Okay? So once more, I go back to my thesis. Okay? I go back to what I've said a million times. We are going to have to crack this nut open right here. Okay? We are going to have to pound the crap out of Keshem Island, pound the crap out of Labak, okay, Larak Island, I think it is. I'm going to zoom in. We're going to have to reduce all of their means of resistance. And yes, I do think we're going to have to gain a foothold on the ground in order to truly control the straits. Because the blockade, I feel like the Iranians are already doing the blockade for you. You see what I'm saying? So, but I do understand that the Iranians are getting paid a toll, right? It's a toll booth. If you pay $1 million, you can get through, okay? So the U.S. is saying, no, don't bother. Don't pay the $1 million. You pay the $1 million, you're not getting through, okay? So this is a tough situation because now the Iranians are going to say, okay, that's fine. No one is going to pay the toll. That's fine. No one will get through. No oil will get through. What's going to happen is it's going to hurt their economy is what we are reasoning, okay? We are reasoning that it's going to hurt their economy, okay? Well, how long is it going to take? Well, I'll tell you one thing. In the Civil War, the U.S. Civil War, the North did a similar blockade on the South. It took, you know how long it took for us to really hurt the South's economy in order for them to not be able to resist anymore? It took 3 years. It took 3 years for this to really sink in and to really hurt them, okay? You don't think China's going to find a way to funnel money to these guys somehow? You don't think Russia's going to find a way to funnel money? Oh, wait a second. What about material? You don't think Russia will find a way to send them material somehow? Well, Ben, we control the skies. Okay. Well, Ben, we control the waterways. Okay. But what about up here? I don't know. What about up here? What's going on up here in the Caspian Sea? What's that connected to? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so. There's Moscow. Oh, Volgograd. Oh, Caspian Sea. Okay. Oh, look at this. A lot of ship traffic right now. A lot of ship traffic going around there. A lot of cargo vessels. We're seeing it. Okay. So there is a way for them to get something. Now, could the U.S. bomb the hell out of them? Sure. Are we going to bomb Russian-flagged ships? I don't think so. Putin is as wacky as everybody thinks he is, okay? And we do not want to have a two-front war, okay? So how long is this blockade going to take to work? The Iranians have already demonstrated that they are not going to stop. I think it's going to take a long time. Now, definitely not good for them to be able to collect tolls. I get that 100%. I think, seeing that's happening, you got to take action, okay? But I go back to it again. We have got to really soften up Keshem Island. We got to really soften up Larak Island. We got to destroy their ability to resist and to control the straits. We have to. Otherwise, we're going to play this game for a long time. It is very costly to do a blockade, okay? It is not an easy operation. We're intercepting ships running around, all this stuff like that, okay? It is not easy. I think I did not show you guys what I was trying to do. I think I didn't share this. But let me show this, okay? Let me zoom out one more time. Let's see here. I don't think I was showing you guys properly. There's Strait of Hormuz. Here's Iran. And then what's up here? Let me zoom in a little bit. This is lagging a little bit. Sorry, guys. 1 second. There's a Black Sea. Now it's zooming in a little too much. Zoom out a little bit more. There's a Caspian Sea. Okay, so here's Iran. There's Tehran right there. I'm circling Tehran right now, the southern part of this Caspian Sea. And then we go up. And we're going to go up. We go up, and there's Moscow. There's a land connection between Moscow, you got to cross the Volgograd, okay, and to go to the Caspian Sea. So to go right over to the Caspian Sea, then I think I have it right. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. Right to the Caspian Sea, and they can have a connection right to Iran. That's what I'm seeing right now, okay? That's what I'm glancing. It will take a while. It will take a while. Crazy stuff. Yeah, we should send Tim Kennedy in to end the war. That's hilarious, Juan. Whatever happened with that guy? Green Line Challenger, what's going on, man? Good to have you, brother. Good seeing you yesterday. Hey, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and bring your 50 grenades in your bag. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, please, and comment after it puts it up. The more subscribers we get, the bigger and better, I should say, more interviews I can do. I shouldn't say better, but people outside of my immediate circle. Okay, it helps to grow the channel, helps to promote awareness, helps to support the mission, all those things. And I would appreciate that. So if you guys are new here, make sure you are voting inside the poll. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And put any questions you have in there. Welcome to the best chat on YouTube, smartest chat. And that's not me just saying that. Everybody that comes here always says that. And this is everybody in the chat. It's all you guys. You guys are real stars here, kicking ass and making it an amazing, amazing show. So I appreciate all of you. All right, let's watch this next little part. Let's pay attention a little bit more on what's going on with the blockade.
Urging for the waterway to be reopened. Let's kick off our coverage here this hour with NBC News senior international correspondent Matt Bradley, who is in Tel Aviv. Matt, the president's been to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, get oil flowing back to the countries that rely on it. Do we know why does he want to have this blockade in these ports right now? And how exactly is this going to work now that it kicks into effect?
Yeah, it's interesting because, of course, he's imposing a blockade and the Iranians have already put a blockade, and that's the cause of this crisis. The president...
That's what I was saying. That's what I'm saying. But again, the key point is the Iranians are using a toll, right? There, you pay the toll, we let you through, okay? And then they have another blockade, and that's us. You pay the toll, too bad. You're not going anywhere, all right? So let's keep going.
Is trying to stop Iranian ships, which have actually been operating this entire time. So this is the intention, to choke off Iran, which has been benefiting from the fact that it's been able to sell oil on the international market. Now, the risk here is a further blockade on top of a blockade. That means that we're going to be seeing now less Iranian oil reaching the market, and oil is a global commodity. So the risk here is that the price of oil could increase even more on global markets because of those markets that would have been relying on oil, like in China or other places, like we're seeing some of these unloading in India. So this is going to be possibly a move that the president means to try to subdue Iran, but it could make matters worse for global markets.
And Matt, we'll get into the markets in a moment. But
so guys, one of the things that happens, okay, when there is this type of constraint on oil, okay, when we restrict the oil flow, what happens is that countries that need oil can't get the oil. Master of Obvious, Ben, thanks so much. But I'm going to go a little deeper, okay? They can't even get access to dollars to pay for the oil because oil is bought and sold in U.S. dollars, okay? It's priced in U.S. dollars, Brent crude oil price, right, per barrel. So what happens is that when you see the markets taking a dip or you see the price of gold, for example, dropping, right, you see Bitcoin dropping, all these things like that, okay? Here's what's going on. A lot of these countries in Asia, outside the United States, all right, Asia, Africa, you name it, a lot in Asia, though, India, China, Southeast Asia, all these places, they can't get dollars to buy oil, okay, because creditors won't give them the dollars. So because of what's happening with the tightening in the global economy. So what happens is they short sell gold. They flood the market with gold, flood the market with Bitcoin. They're short selling stocks, bonds, you name it, okay, U.S. backed assets, which then causes supply to go up, right? More is out there, so the price goes down, okay? Low supply, high demand, price goes up, right? You see what I'm saying? And so that's what's been going on. Why are they saying that the markets are going to be impacted so much? Well, because again, credit tightens up. People are not loaning money, dollars, to these countries to buy the oil they need. Indonesia, this was happening. China, it's happening. Okay, big economies. India, it's happening. So it's causing a whipsaw on the economy, all right? So all this stuff is happening out there, and why it won't just be the price of a barrel of oil, it's also the tightening of credit markets as well, too. Why did gold take such a dip? Gold took its worst, I think it had its worst week, I think in a long time, in years. Back, I want to say it was like April 1st, around that time frame, April 3rd or 4th, maybe even right before that week, but around that time frame, okay? Because of exactly what I'm saying. People were selling gold to get U.S. dollars, okay? Because gold is that forever currency, right? It's always held its value, been used forever, really not worth much of anything, okay? But people believe it's worth something, it has intrinsic value. I should say it has value in people's minds, right, for thousands of years. And so they're selling gold, short selling it, or selling it while it's high in order to get U.S. dollars. Same thing Bitcoin. You're seeing flooding of Bitcoin. That hasn't been talked about, but in order to get U.S. dollars, okay, so they can purchase assets. So you'll see that you see that happening. If you do some research on that, you'll see it, okay? That's the story underneath the story that they're not saying when they say these are going to have global shocks. Part of it is a tightening of the credit market. No one is insurance markets, credit, loaning in U.S. dollars, all these things like that, okay? Let's keep going. Let's listen a little bit more. Put your questions in the chat, guys, and I'll hit them.
Let's talk about the response there in the region. How is Iran responding to this? What are we hearing from leaders around the world to this move?
Yeah, well, this is something that is being obviously condemned by the Iranians, and you know we're seeing more and more around the world an increasing realization that this confrontation and even the call for negotiations is causing more and more friction and pushing things down the line. The president's attempt to try to sell to the world that Iran has already been defeated, that this has been a victory for the United States and for Israel. These are things that aren't really going to be landing with a lot of folks.
Again, okay, first of all, Tim Burke, what's going on, man? Good to have you, brother. Haven't seen you in here in a little bit. It's good to have you back. But again, let's get back to this, okay? Let's go back to our Sun Tzu and our deception, okay? All war is deception, all right? All war is based on deception. When capable, feign incapacity. When active, inactivity. When near, make it like you're far, okay? Feign disorder and strike him. Appear weak when you're strong and strong when you're weak. So, I'm not so naive to think that President Trump doesn't know how to be deceptive and doesn't know how to sow chaos and all these things like that, okay? He's holding a lot of cards. In the meantime, he is whipsawing the economy, our economy, the global economy, for sure, okay? And, I think the thing is this, that he may be getting ready for something bigger. I've said it before, I said it 1,000 times. You guys know what I think it is. I think we're going to get ready to move in, and we're going to have to crush the defenses in the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to have to do it. So what my thesis is for this whole negotiation thing, what I was saying to you guys, is exactly this, right? So for those of you just joining us right now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I won't steal your soul if you subscribe, okay? Won't cost you anything. But I'm always surprised. I see probably about 15% of the people that are watching are subscribed, and everyone else just doesn't come and subscribe. So please subscribe. It helps out the channel. It'd be great to have you. And therefore, you can always be notified of our fun and games and antics here and all the content and videos and lives. But what I'm trying to say is that I think the negotiation was just part of a deception plan, okay? We're trying to show that we're negotiating. We're trying to show that we want an end to things, that we're maybe going to give concessions. Remember, we went into these negotiations and said we were going to base our negotiations on the Iranian 10-point plan, okay? We're going to base our negotiations on the Iranian 10-point plan. We had our own 15 points. The Iranians rejected them. We said, okay, that's fine, 10-point plan. When have we ever seen President Trump so easily just accept someone else's negotiation points? I think they just wanted to pause. Like I said, I think they're refitting, rearming, resupplying. They are moving ships, aircraft. You don't think they're doing deployment orders right now for troops? You don't think that we are getting everything set in case we need to? Okay? You don't think we're taking stock of what Russia's doing, China's doing, the world situation to see, hey, can we move a couple brigade combat teams into the Middle East? Can we move another MEU there? Could we maybe take a Marine Expeditionary Brigade and land them in, I don't know, UAE? Or, I don't know, Kuwait? Oh, maybe Iraq? Oh, can we not forward deploy some more special forces into the area? Isn't it interesting that we had several hundred Tier 1 operators on the ground for that big rescue for the pilot? Wow, they were there pretty fast, weren't they? Well, they can get there very fast, it's true, but I think they're already there. That's the point, okay? So I think there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and I think this was all deception. Again, why are we looking at Sun Tzu, okay? Because, again, all warfare is based on deception. I think they went into this thing. They knew nothing's going to happen. We're not going to get a deal. Nothing's going to get done. But let's appear, for popular support's sake, in the world, in our country, in international support, that we're trying to get a deal done. Meanwhile, nope. We knew it wasn't going to happen. And now we resume the party. Say, well, okay, we tried. Fire them up, boys. Bomb them again. Hit them again. Okay? That's what I think is exactly happening. That's exactly what I think is happening.
Especially with a lot of foreign leaders, especially those allies, American allies, that the president had scorned and then asked for help and then scorned again for not helping.
And Matt, what got us to this point was those marathon peace talks over the weekend, failing 21 hours of peace talks. What were the main sticking points there? Why didn't they come to any sort of deal?
Let's hear this. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, well, according to the American side, we've been hearing that the main sticking points are the enriched uranium and Iran's access to a nuclear weapon. And, the United States has been characterizing this as the main issue that has been complicating and really delaying negotiations all this time. It's one of the reasons why this whole conflict came to war to begin with, because of many of these same diplomats who had been negotiating with the Iranians. So, now we're seeing once again the problem with these negotiations. They haven't really been able.
So, guys, put a 1 in the chat if you think this. Okay, give me a 1 if you think if the Iranians opened the strait and said, yeah, we're not going to blockade the strait anymore, we're done. We want peace, we'll open the strait, and we can talk about the enriched uranium. Do you think that the war would have been over? Do you think it would have been over if they opened the strait? Because if we just bomb the hell out of their nuclear program, we could just bomb it again, right? I think the main sticking point for me was not the nuclear weapon. It was the Straits of Hormuz that was closed. Okay, because that is Iran's nuclear option. Their nuclear option actually is the Straits of Hormuz. That's actually their nuclear option. So put a 1 in the chat if you think that if Iran would have opened the strait, this would have been over. Fire Butterfly say no. I think it might have been. But maybe not. Maybe there's more going on there. Maybe we have a bigger agenda, right? A much broader long-term agenda for the region, okay? Let's go on to this next one right here. Check this out. And again,
than any other economy on that strait, right? They need stuff to go in and out. Okay, so.
And again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. Okay, I want to make sure I get to these. But we're going to get into a minute here is what exactly. Yeah, a lot of people say no. A lot of people say no. No. Yep. Let me see here. You might be right. I'd like to think that it would. But then think about it. If they open the straits, Then what? We're like, okay, open the straits. You'll give us uranium or we're going to keep bombing you. I think, honestly, I hate to say it, but I think it's almost too easy. They handed it to us. They handed it to Trump. I shouldn't say to us. They handed it to Trump and his administration. They played right into their hands. If they would have opened the straits, I think they would have been like, huh? They opened the straits because the whole world would have been like, except for Bibi, you're right, except for Bibi, except for Israel. But the whole world probably would have been like, okay, end this war now. They open the straits. They're saying they're done. But they didn't give us the nuclear material. I think everyone would have said, you bombed them into the Stone Age already, so you can keep bombing them if you want, but we need to dial things down. So, but it's like the Iranians I think they almost dropped the ball. It's almost like they dropped the ball. They forced a fumble on themselves. So they did a self-sack. The quarterback dropped back, he sacked himself and dropped the ball. Because if they would have given some kind of concession for the straight, I think it would have made us look really bad if we didn't say, okay, straits are open. You're not going to shoot anymore. No, we're not going to shoot anything anymore. We're done. We're done. I think that it would be a hard argument to continue prosecuting the war as we have been if they just said, look, we're done. The straits are open. Oil can flow. Everyone can do what they want. We can work the rest of this thing out. But that's not who they are. I know that this is a nonsense discussion because that's not who they are. But I do think that they would have surprised us in the negotiations with that. But anyway, being that they are a kooky regime, kooky regimes do what kooky regimes do. Crazy wackos do what crazy wackos do. And so they're doing what crazy wackos do. And that's fighting to the death. Good for them. Anyway, they're going to oblige them 100%. That is coming soon to a theater near you. Coming soon to a theater near you, everyone, is massive more bombing campaign on Keshem Island, on Bandar Abbas, on Larak Island. That's what I say. I'm going to say it again. I've said it a million times. Karg Island is deception. Karg Island is BS. How are you going to get to Karg Island? You got to go through the straits, okay, to get to Karg Island. What are we going to jump the 82nd Airborne in there? We're going to fly helicopters from the Marine Corps in there and get shot down? The tanks don't swim. It's an island, okay? We have to do an amphibious landing to get there. We could do it from Saudi Arabia. It's a long hike, but we got to go through the straits still. So you got to take Bandar Abbas. You got to take Keshem Island. You got to take Larak. You got to take something. At a minimum, you got to deal with all the defense systems in there and also all of their offensive weapons systems. You got to deal with all these things. Karg Island is deception. Then my idea is, just as a military professional, it's just, I don't know how everybody doesn't see that. Yes, it's a critical node. I got it. Okay? You can take it with Delta Force if you want to, but guess what? If they hit one bird and kill 10 or 15 of our Tier 1 operators, this is such a massive misuse of that force. This is a Ranger mission. It's a Marine Corps mission. It's a big Army mission. Okay? So, but why? You take the straits, you own it. No one can ship anyway. Straits are harder. I got it. Karg Island's not easy either. Okay? So I think you're going to look to see a concentration of firepower on Keshem Island, and I'm going to point out Keshem Island really quickly in case we're wondering where that is. I pointed it out to the usual comers, the usual audience, many, many times. But for those of you who are new, I will point it out to you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment and share. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all those things you can do. And join in the fun. Get in the chat and have some fun in there. Okay? Best chat in YouTube. All right, so we're talking right in here, guys. Bandar Abbas, this long leaf blower looking island. It looks like a leaf blower. Some people say dagger. I say leaf blower. Looks like a leaf blower. See, there's the handle, the trigger, and there's the blower. That's the part you hold with your second hand right there. Okay. Leaf blower island. There's Larak Island right there as well, too. Okay. That is where they have all their drones, all their secret drone bases, all their suicide boats. This mess back here of islands, they hide boats, they hide fast attack craft. It has radar scatter, so radar can't pick up the boats in there. There's a naval base at Bandar Abbas. We already sunk all their ships. We got to deal with this first, okay? But if we deal with this, we don't have to deal with Karg. Why? There's no reason to, okay? And if you go to Karg, you risk destroying the critical infrastructure there. Here, this is just all military stuff and caves. Why not? Anyway, that's my opinion. White House, you need me to come in and give some strategic advice? I'm actually qualified. So bring me on in there. And it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you for sure. I'm not going into this nut show without getting some pay. That's for damn sure. I'll tell you that much. And you bring all my YouTube chat friends with me. Damn it. These are my advisors. Or else we don't do it, right? Right. All right. Okay. Let's go and watch the rest of this one. And here we go. Geraldo's got some things to say. I haven't heard from Geraldo in a long time, guys. Have you guys heard from Geraldo in a long time? I have not heard from Geraldo in a long time. So when I saw Geraldo speaking on this, I thought, I'm going to put Geraldo up in here and see what he has to say. Okay? Awesome. I appreciate that. Leaf blower. I need that. I need the sound effect. You're right, Jasmine. Let me see if I can find a leaf blower sound effect. You see the resemblance, though. You see it resembles a leaf blower. Okay, here we go. Here's Geraldo, guys. I saw Geraldo in here. I thought we're going to put Geraldo on. No, I was surprised. I was surprised with Geraldo's take. I'm not going to lie to you. You guys tell me right now. Put a 1 in the chat if you think Geraldo is a liberal. Put a 1 in the chat if you think Geraldo is a liberal. Put a 0 in the chat if you think he's a conservative. I didn't either, Tim. I saw him. I thought I got to put him on. You remember when Dr. D, David Death, punched him in the face and slapped him in the ear when Geraldo was doing an expose saying that wrestling was fake? You're right. I'd be kicked out. I'd be kicked out instantly. And then I'd be indicted, and they would say I stole classified emails, and I'd be clinking a canteen cup on the bars, singing "Swing Low" or some kind of song in there, right? So he's not okay. He's not a liberal. I don't know. I had no clue. I thought he was. See, I tell it like it is. I tell you what I know and what I don't know. I'm not trying to act. The Jerry Springer of TV news. Is he, Tim? Nope, no Geraldo. Thank goodness. Okay, let's see. Not since Al Capone's save. Okay, it's politically fluid. They will joke at you. Yeah. Juan Wick, you're right. You're right. I'm sure somewhere, somehow, all these little things get up to him, right? But I think they'll first come after Nate. If they're looking at any bad stuff, any bad thumbnails, Nate Valhalla will go first. And then I'll know it's time to run away. But one of the funniest things when Nate had Trump in the chicken suit, I literally opened up YouTube that popped up. I died laughing. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. It's too funny. All right, let's listen to what Geraldo has to say. You guys say he is not a liberal. I didn't know what he was, but then he started talking, and I realized what we're dealing with. Here we go.
Oh, we cut them off, and they're economically crippled, and they say, all right, enough. I can't take it anymore. However, in the meantime, of course, our own economy and the global economy is also going to probably take a hit. So how do you see it?
I think the president is not getting enough credit, Connell. I think that this is an audacious, daring, creative, ballsy move by Trump. I would not have thought of it when I heard the framework for it. I was tremendously enthused, and I thought about it for a while. Here it is. If you have a non-Iranian port and your vessel is going from...
Yeah, but I'll say this. How could this surprise you as ballsy? He just bombed the hell out of the country, did all kinds of stuff. To me, it just seems like this is part of his strategic calculus. He's move by Iran, counter move by the U.S. Point, counterpoint, right? They're now charging a toll. He's like, okay, watch this. No toll for you because no one's going to pay it anymore because you can't get out. So he's checking them. Checkmate, right? But I'm telling you, the next step is to bomb the hell out of Keshem Island, the leaf blower, bomb the hell out of Larak Island, bomb the hell out of Bandar Abbas until literally take them back to the Stone Age because you're going to have to in order to destroy all of the weapon systems there, okay? And then the straits will be free. Why we didn't do that before, I don't know. I really don't know. You guys know I've been talking about this for weeks. I'm like, how come we're only seeing some major explosions here and there on Keshem and Larak, and Bandar Abbas was definitely getting naval gunfire. They were definitely getting blasted. Their ships were getting destroyed. But they didn't destroy that I know of, right? I'm not in CENTCOM, but as far as me observing from open source material, I didn't see a concentrated bombardment in these places that I thought they would have done. If they thought the Strait of Hormuz closing was like a nuclear bomb going off, an economic nuclear bomb, I didn't understand why they didn't do it. Well, they're going to do it now. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. And like I said a million times, there will be a ground invasion of sorts. It won't be like Iraq with 500,000 people, but there will be an amphibious landing. There will be some ground troops. They'll have all that stuff happen. And if they really want to overthrow the regime, watch some of my old videos, right, over the past few weeks. Special forces with the Kurds, with the CIA, training and supporting, growing an insurgency that will overthrow the IRGC. There are already reports right now that Iranian citizens are banding up together and they're attacking IRGC members in small groups. If there's like only 2 or 3 of them, or even one of them, they're attacking them and killing them in the street. Okay, so the people are starting to do some vigilante stuff from some of the reports I've seen. Okay, but I think you're going to look to see a much more concentrated effort. Get the Strait of Hormuz under control. You want the regime to go away. You think that they're still bad actors. They are bad actors. We know that. Then you're going to have to do the things I'm telling you to do. Okay. But I want to say this. General Jim Mattis, Chaos, Secretary of War, okay, Secretary of Defense, 4-star Marine Corps General, CENTCOM Commander. All right. I had a chance to work with him before, to spend time with him as well. Great strategic thinker. I saw some recent things he put out. He said, if you're going in there, you're going to have to go all the way. The Iranian regime needs to change. They are bad. They will always have they will always be a threat to us. Once they have a capability to really strike us, they will use it. Because remember, everybody, in strategic thought, how do we define a threat? Okay, you have to have a capability plus the intention to use it. If you have the capability but no intention, like Great Britain has nuclear weapons, they're not a nuclear threat. They're not an existential threat to us. They have the capability to be, but they're not. Okay, if you have the intention to destroy the United States, like Al Qaeda, the intention to destroy the United States, kill everybody if they could, right? But they didn't have the capability to do that. They didn't have nuclear weapons. So Iran definitely has the intention. This is what the fear is and why this is being justified, okay? If they got a nuclear weapon, would they use it? Maybe with the old Ayatollah, maybe they would not, because they know they would be in such a strong negotiating position that they would not have to. But their stated policy is the destruction of Israel. They also called the United States the Great Satan. They said Israel goes first, then the United States. So would they use it at some point? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But they are definitely a credible threat if they would have had nuclear weapons, okay? So just understand that. All right, let's keep on watching here what Geraldo has to say.
A non-Arabian, a non-Iranian port, anywhere else, the vessel can transit the strait or come in to load up. If you're using an Iranian port, though, you are blockaded. He has flipped the script. Right. In other words, he has made the people who were the victims of the blockade now the perpetrators of a blockade.
It's blockade the blockaders. I think that's what the Journal said this morning.
We are blockading the blockaders. Absolutely. What remains to be seen, of course, is what Iran does. Are they going to attack any of these vessels? They're attempting to use non-Iranian ports to go and come, or will they just sit there and worry with their beads? I don't know. All I know is that
I think Iran will attack the vessels that the U.S. says can go through. That's what I think. I think Iran will definitely attack the vessels that they've said can go through. Okay. That's my prediction. Let's see what you guys got in the chat here. Let's see where we're at with this. Let me see. Let's see what we got in the chat. Right here. Pulling this back up. Let me see. The chat got lost for a second on me. Okay. Okay, Jasmine, let's see. Jasmine says, but they don't have nuclear weapons. Right, exactly. So that is the whole thing, right? And that's why a credible threat means you have a capability plus an intention. They have all the intentions in the world, but they don't have the capability. Correct. Let's see. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, let's see what else. Yeah, it's the attention. It's the intention. That's it, Jasmine, right? Why doesn't IDF go in? Exactly. Great point. Geraldo has the capability of making me never want to watch News Nation. Timothy, I hear you. I don't know if he's even relevant anymore. I don't know, Lisa. I couldn't believe he was on there, so I threw him on there just for everyone to talk about him. Let's see. Pumpkin says Jacoba facts. Yep. Let's see. Brian Plummer, what's going on, man? Good to have you here. Two things can be true at the same time. I believe they are a credible threat, yeah, and are working on becoming an imminent threat. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, these are definitely bad actors. This is like the person threatening you, like saying, I'm going to come and I'm going to kill you, kill your family. You got to pay attention to this, right? Now, the ability of someone to get a knife or a gun and do this is way greater than the ability of a country to get nuclear weapons, right? Especially when they're being monitored, especially when the international, Atomic Energy Agency watching them, especially when you have global intelligence networks watching them, all those things. And you have bunker buster bombs to destroy them, okay? So all those things, definitely things to consider, okay? Let's see here. What do we get inside our poll? 35 votes 1 hour ago. Guys, if you haven't had a chance to vote yet in our poll, please do. We get a lot out of this. It's very helpful. And if you haven't liked, subscribed, and shared, please subscribe. Okay? It's not going to hurt you. And you get in here, you come back, get to see our antics. Friday night's a lot of fun if you haven't been there yet. It's a good time. And then I will pop up and do emergency lives every now and then as we need to. Okay? And you'll be a part of the coolest chat in YouTube. All the best, coolest people. Lots of fun. No BS. No one, getting sideways, getting stupid in here because we kick you the hell out, right? So you can think what you want. You can have your own opinions. You can have your own politics, whatever it is. But it's definitely a cool place to discuss and chat and support each other, all that stuff, so we learn together. So the poll says, will the blockade do anything to make Iran surrender? No, 100%. I think this is the first time we've ever had a 100% for an hour poll, a poll for an hour. There's always someone dissenting, 100%. I'm going to end it right there because that's magical. Everybody thinks no, okay? So I'm going to put my last poll up. Do you think, here it goes. You guys know what I'm going to ask. Do you think some kind, that's right, Jasmine, exactly. We know how to agree to disagree around here. That's right, exactly. Do you think some kind of ground invasion? My computer's slow tonight. Invasion. Some level. Let me say not some kind. Say some level. I mean, we've already had boots on the ground. We had all the special operators there for the rescue mission, right? Some level of ground invasion is coming. New poll, last poll. Okay? Answer in the chat, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. It helps out the channel. Yeah, right. It's kind of crazy. That's it, Saucy. It's nuts. It is nuts. Yep. Everyone said no. It is crazy. Honestly, that's the craziest thing. We have no faith that this is going to do anything. Honestly. I think, I'll just say it. We'd be better off just say, forget the blockade. Just start slamming them. Hammer the hell out of Keshem and Larak. Guys, bear with me. I'm a Marine, right? You're not going to see like a lot of like, then we got to negotiate and talk to them. We do. We should. I'm just saying, I don't think it works, okay? With these people, it's not going to work. So, but definitely we got to pound these military islands. Pound them. Obliterate them. Literally this time, obliterate. Not the definition of obliteration that doesn't work. 14 votes, 100%. No. Everyone says no. Yeah, that's it, Frosty. I agree with you. I agree. I think we're prepping everyone else. I think deployment orders are going out. I think money's being cut. Supply, ammunition, gear. They're doing repairs, maintenance. They're bringing more stuff. They're pre-positioning pallets and flights, pallet after pallet of ammunition, of resupply, of food, of water. They're building up an Iron Mountain. They're building up a logistics warehouses all throughout the area where we have our bases. That's what's going on. We're buying time. Yeah, okay, we're negotiating. Meanwhile, people are back there, sharpening the saw, sharpening the blade, getting ready to rock and roll, reloading, putting rounds in the magazine. All that stuff is happening, okay? So, yeah, that's what I think is happening next. So, like I said, I promised you guys that we will do the Monday Mindset Reset, and we're going to talk about that right now, okay? So how do you deal with this? How do we, when we have all this stuff going on, okay, how do we maintain our mindset? How do we maintain a positive mindset, a powerful mindset? Okay, if you guys were there with me the other day, I'm like sharing like the studio screen. I don't know what was going on there. That was the studio, YouTube studio. And it went into infinity. It was like an infinity mirror. It kept going into infinity. Let me see that on my phone. Pretty cool. So this is the thing. If you're there on Saturday for my seminar, okay, I talked about a lot of different things. And so welcome back for those of you who are at the seminar on Saturday. But I'm going to talk about a couple of these things right now, okay? And some of the things I talked about on Saturday, I talked about the most important things you need in order to overcome obstacles and stay the course, stay on the path in your life, okay, is you need to have the right vision of yourself. Your identity is so powerful, okay? The reason why Trump's AI image of himself as Jesus is so jarring is the confusion of identity. If you don't know who you are, okay, the world will label you a doctor one day and a deity the next, all right? You must own your identity. One of the things I found when I was training Marines in Marine Recon down at Coronado, okay, as the OIC of the Basic Recon course, and then later I was a commanding officer of the Recon Training Company and Marine Sniper School in Camp Pendleton around that same time frame. My instructors and I would get together and we would talk about people that would make it and people that don't, okay? A lot of the Marines that would make it, those that don't, through the hard training. And so one of the things we saw was that it wasn't always just physical fitness, and it wasn't just always experience or people who went through a lot of tough things before, okay? Yes, those things mattered. Yes, physical fitness mattered, okay? Mattered a lot. If you're dragging on a run because you're exhausted, it makes everything else harder. All the mental and emotional stuff hard as well. You can't be as skilled as you'd like to be if you're exhausted, for example, okay? And so we discovered, though, the people that already have decided who they are, those are the ones who make it, okay? So this is something you can pass on to loved ones. You can use it yourself. You can pass it on to your kids, to people you coach, people you teach, people on your team. You got to make up your mind who you want to be and who you are. Not just who you're trying to be, not what you're trying to get, not what you're trying to earn, okay? But who you are at your core. Are you someone that finishes? This is a fundamental question. Are you the person that finishes the race? Are you the person that finishes what they start when they're working on it? Are you the person that keeps going when it gets tough? Are you the person that gets back up when you fail? Okay, so failure is never final. Are you the kind of person that works harder than anyone else in the room? Are you the hardest worker in the room? That's an identity, okay? Are you the person that is always there for their friends and family? Okay? These are identities. So one of the most important things you can have when everything's going to hell right now, when we're getting confused, right, at the strategic level, we see crazy stuff being posted. There's a war going on. The economy sucks, right? We're paying more at the pump. Food costs more money. The one thing I always tell people you're in command of and what you control, right? You focus on what you can control, and that is your attitude towards the things that are going on around you and what you choose to focus on and what you choose to decide about what you see around you, okay? This is very, very important, okay? and the way you see yourself. It's very important. There's a man named Viktor Frankl who wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning when he was a prisoner in a Nazi death camp, okay, during World War II. And one of the things, the distilled down deeper meaning he came away with in this book and his experience there, losing his family, witnessing their murders, all these things like that, was that the one thing he has deep control over is his attitude about the events unfolding around him. This is a secret power that no one can take away from you. If they're intimidating you, if they're scaring you, if the world's falling down around you, you can choose to say, I'm going to react this way. I'm going to be brave because I am brave. I'm going to be tough because I am tough. I'm going to be strong because that's who the F I am. I'm tough. I'm strong. I'm a badass. I'm going to get through this. Even if I don't know how to right now, I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to cut and run. Okay. I might have to maneuver. That's okay. But I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to plant my feet and I'm going to figure this out. Okay. These are identities. Your identity could be also, I'm a creative problem solver. I always find a way. I'm a great, energetic, social connector. I will build a team that will find a way. I will get people together with me, and I'll give in the way I can give, and I'll support, and I'll be a part of a team that will figure it out. Okay? So your identity matters so, so much towards your success. Tony Robbins says this regularly. He once said it that I heard him. He said, one of the most powerful conditions, one of the most powerful forces in the human condition is a person's need to stay consistent with the way they see themselves. Okay? I want you to think about that for a minute, because the way you see yourself deeply, you really take a look at it, this will influence your actions, the things you do in order to stay consistent with that. Okay? If you tell everyone, I'm a lazy fat slob, well, you're going to do things, and you really believe that, oh, well, okay, I'm just a slob who's lazy. People all say it, and it gets you off the hook. You're like, well, I'm just kind of a slob anyway. Gets you off the hook. Everything's a mess because I'm kind of a slob. All right? I'm not saying any of you say that about yourselves, and if you do, change it. Change begins right here first. You want to change your life, the first thing you need to do is to change what you think, your thoughts, the way you direct and focus your thoughts. Okay? And I'm telling you this is from experience. I spent 2 decades of my life learning how to train people to do more and become more and to push through things in life that were scary and very physically and emotionally and mentally hard for them. I was preparing people to get ready, preparing Marines to go to combat. Not hypothetically, not possibly. We were in the middle of the long war and the global war on terror. Recon was getting employed. I got guys that came through my course, guys from 1st Recon Battalion, from 1st Force Recon that I served with. They've won every award you can imagine. Crazy firefights you can't even imagine. Heroes that I got to serve with, I can't even say. Snipers that were like, some of the sniper instructors had done things that would be better than any movie you've seen. Better than Chris Kyle's movie, okay? And somehow, they don't always get recognized with the right awards they should get, but some of them are very highly decorated too. Gunny Paskill was one of them. He killed the sniper, the Washington sniper that was murdering all these people. Okay? I think he shot him right through the scope, as the legend goes, right? Crazy stuff. People I got to serve with and I got to see. Okay, and I have my own stories too. I'd rather tell stories about people that I worked with and the heroes I was able to serve with. But I'm telling you, the question for me and for my instructors was, how do we do this? What's the difference? How do people break through? How do they overcome this overwhelming fear? You're not just getting a tab, not just getting qualified and get to go home and tell Johnny and Susie how you became Marine, and then you went Marine Infantry, and then you went Marine Recon, then you went Marine Force Recon. Guess what? There's a freaking price to pay for that. And that price meant you went to combat. And you came back, or maybe you didn't. Okay? It was very real. But the ones who decided who they were, like me personally, I knew I am a warrior. And that's it. I will get through anything or I will die trying. Okay? I'd rather die than be a coward. These were all things, mantras I would say to myself. Okay? So you need to make up your mind right now, who do you want to become? Who are you, first of all? And if you don't like what comes up when you say that, and it hurts, I want you to change it. Change. Simply change it. You have the power within you. You have the ability within you to change everything right now, to change your life, beginning with the way you define yourself. Yeah, that might have been yesterday. Yeah, yesterday I messed up. Yeah, yesterday I was an addict. Yeah, yesterday I was a drunk. Okay, before. I'm going to get help. I'm going to get over this. Yeah, yesterday I was financially irresponsible. Yeah, yesterday I didn't pass. I failed. I quit. Not today. Not today, I'm not. Okay? I can't tell you how many stories of people I know who are tier 1 badass special operators or, badass Marines, badass you name it, okay? And they had failed at some point in the pipeline, the training. And it hurt. And they thought they were gone. They had to work their asses off to come back to it. Okay? Some of them you know. And they went on to have an amazing career. Okay? I know personally some snipers that had failed not once, not twice, but 3 or 4 times before they made it through. Because either someone had a vendetta against them, an instructor was like, you're not going to make it through, or they weren't good at something. Okay? We all hear these stories. But I'm telling you first in your mind, you need right now to decide who you are. You don't need to be amazing at it yet, but you can be the person who never quits and always keeps learning until you meet the mark. That can be a start of an identity. Until you can say, not only that, yes, I am that. I'm the person that never quits and keeps growing and learning until I can do it. But I'm also a badass. I am the person who did it and does it. I'm a winner. I win. I find a way to win. Okay? The next thing is this, guys. And I talked about this on Saturday, and I'm bringing it to you now. And again, I'm going to have another seminar on April 25th, not this Saturday, but the Saturday afterwards. Okay? And it's really cool because it's Zoom. We can talk. We can interact. I'll answer all your questions afterwards. We see each other. I put a face with a name, a voice with a name. It was great to have you guys over there. All right? And I want to say this, though. You need the energy. The energy is everything to support the way you see yourself. If you say you're this badass and you're the person that never quits, you're going to need the energy. How you keep your battery charged when the news is negative. Okay? And there are a lot of tools and techniques, tactical tools and techniques that will support this. Sleep is your number one weapon, right? What you feed yourself, what you drink, your breathing, okay? You're energetically affected by who you surround yourself with. You're energetically affected by your self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? I asked people on Saturday, because I've said it in big talks I've given when I've spoken to big audiences. I speak to sales teams sometimes for different, big companies and things like that. And one of the things I'll ask them is said, who here recently has asked themselves, put your hand up, why am I such a dumbass? And you see almost every hand go up because I've asked myself that so many times. Why am I such a dumbass? Oh. Well, if you ask yourself that question, you are going to get freaking answers, okay? You're going to get answers for why you're such a dumbass. They're going to come. So instead, you want to ask yourself the right questions, right? What can I learn from this? How can this serve me now? What's the opportunity in this? All those things. Because you're going to be affected energetically, and your confidence is going to be impacted. Your confidence, your energy, your self-trust. You beat yourself down. The world's going to beat you down enough. Why are you going to beat yourself down? Don't do it. Okay? You need to maintain this ferocious energy. This is ferocious optimism. This is my personal philosophy in a nutshell, okay? How I coach my clients, how I coach my ferocious optimist coaching members, my inner circle members, okay? Your identity first, your energy to support that identity for who you believe you are, all right? Are you drinking too much? Are you eating too much? All those things like that, okay? Impacting your sleep. Are you exercising, right? And then do you have a purpose, a powerful purpose you're connected to? That will energize you. When you have a powerful, compelling vision, future vision, this will impact you. Connected to an identity that's bulletproof. The story you're telling about yourself, but really the identity. Who you are. Who you believe you are. And if you don't like it, change it. Your imagination is the most powerful thing you have to change your life. Give yourself permission. to see yourself differently and tell yourself that and keep it close held. Then just start taking the actions one day at a time, keeping little promises to yourself, keeping the little vision, doing the things that you need to do. Lo and behold, you're going to be like, I am that person. I freaking am doing it, and I did it, and I believe in myself. And what else can I do? I did this. What else can I do? That's how it is. Okay? That's how it is. You'll grow and grow and grow, and your goals will get bigger and bigger. And next thing you know, you're doing more, you're achieving more. You're going to grow so much that people around you won't even recognize who you are anymore. Like, holy shit, what did you do? How did you do it? You're like, well, I'll tell you. Started right here and right here. And I made it happen. I kept promises to myself every day. Next, let's talk about environment. If you're surrounded by people talking about all bad things and negativity instead of growth and winning and overcoming obstacles and challenges, you're already setting yourself up for failure. Okay? Who you hang around with, you become. Who you let into your mind will influence your thoughts and your actions and your energy and your identity. Your environment is so, so important. You got to get around the right people. You got to consume the right content. So, round of applause for all of you. Pat yourselves in the back. You're in the right place today, okay? Because, yes, we will look at the negativity. And it's also a way for us to kind of vent and make sense of what's going on and a chance to laugh at some of the crazy stuff we see, but then also understand what's going on in the world so we're not confused. Because when we're confused with the leadership in the world and the leadership of what's happening in our lives, we see around us, it can cause you to get lower energy and be less effective, less efficient. Well, we're not going to let that happen. We looked at it. We saw it. Now we decide, what can we do about it? If something, cool. If not, focus on what you can control. But your environment, the people around you, the actual physical environment you're in, your space, is it clean? Is it orderly? Okay? The content you consume, the things you read, the music you listen to. I recently saw something that's really, really, really funny. There's a guy on Instagram. He talks about hip-hop hypnosis. It's one of the funniest things. Give me a 1 in the chat if you've seen the guy who talks about hip-hop hypnosis. I mean, I was dying laughing. But if you're listening to, on repeat constantly, negative music, right? It's going to wear you down. I like, lots of different kinds of music. But some of the stuff, they talk about too much crazy stuff for me. I don't like it. It's negative. I don't want to hear it, right? The music, the beats might sound good, but I don't want to hear this message this person's saying. Okay? It's the same thing. If you're around a coworker or a friend that all they do is speak negatively and they doubt you and they say something, you're not sure what it is, but something makes you feel bad energetically. You're like, I can't quite place it, but they're always acting like maybe they're better than me. They don't say it directly, but they talk about stuff that I like and they say how bad it is. Or they talk about things that I think are important. They say how stupid it is. And so it's never directly at me. You know what I'm talking about? I know you guys know what I'm talking about, okay? People who are just negative, they will wear you down. You got to protect your mind. You got to protect what's going on in your mind. It's your environment, okay? The mindset switch. This matters so much. Your identity, your energy, your environment, okay? The next seminar is going to be April 25th. I'm going to deep dive on these things. If you guys are needing an accountability circle, if you need a group of like-minded people that are all trying to win this year and this quarter and overcome things they're going through, to improve their identity, to tell themselves a new story about themselves, to improve their energy, to improve their environment, and to win, okay, deeply. Strategy, planning, all those things. An accountability circle of supportive people. I've got it for you. The link is in my bio. It's in my Ferocious Optimist coaching membership and community, okay? Click on there. You guys have seen the videos before. Click on it. Take a look at it. I'm telling you, it's absolutely awesome. You're going to love it. And you get access to my entire vault library of presentations and sessions. Guys, I do this on YouTube here. You think I have long things here? I've got probably 15 two-hour videos in my vault that's actually me teaching deep concepts, very well thought out, precise concepts, and you get the entire PowerPoint slide presentations, PDFs with them, okay? You also get access to my community, which I'll DM you daily. You want to DM me and talk about things and me to coach you through that. We hold one live group coaching session per month, okay? where I'll answer you through Zoom and we'll talk as long as you guys want to discuss and do Q&A. I'm going to teach you for about an hour and 15 minutes, give you the presentation. It goes in the vault library. You can have unlimited replay it as much as you want. You have access to all the other members as well too. And it's absolutely awesome. Okay, one thing I found is pacing-wise, I don't do more than the one session per month because I don't want to overwhelm you. Okay, it's accessible, it's bite-sized, guaranteed to make a rapid transformation for you. You can binge watch as many sessions as you want. They're all there. Like I said, there are 14 of them, about 2 hours each. Okay, so you've got the entire Game of Thrones, waiting for you in there. And of course, I'm telling some stories and laughing and stuff as well too. But there's a lot of great material. It has changed my life. It's made major impact on everyone that I've taught. Okay, you can see my testimonials on LinkedIn. You can see them on my website, www.benpappas.com. Look at all that stuff. And then hopefully if you're getting something out of being here with me on Mondays and Fridays, you might want to check this out. Okay, it's $87.99 per month. I do have an annual option available that does have a choose your own payment option. If you choose that one, you'll be able to use Klarna and you can select what payment you want as well too. So I've got two different things. Look in the landing page, click the link in my bio, look in there, go through, man. Take a look. It doesn't cost you anything. Nothing's going to happen. No expectation. There's a free gift there, by the way, too, of a PDF. If you scroll down, you'll find it. And watch the video, check it out. But you can click on the monthly payment, the monthly annual subscription, or the one-time payment. The one-time payment is where you have the Klarna option where you can actually choose your payment as well, too. Okay, guys? All right. So great to have you guys here. Want to give you that. I'd love to see you in the community. I'd love to see you in the membership as well, too. If not, it's great having you guys here. Absolutely awesome. This content's fantastic. My content over there is really, really deep and powerful in all the concepts I just talked about, okay? So if you're looking to get ahead, if you're looking to make a breakthrough, grow your business, overcome some type of challenge or obstacle, nail your goals this year and get moving, come over there, meet me on the other side in the Ferocious Optimist coaching membership and community. I'd love to have you there. All right, guys, it's been so great. So awesome to have you here. Make yourselves better, make the world better. Have an amazing, amazing week. Let's get after it, okay? Don't let the rage baiters get you. Remember to laugh. Remember to have fun with all this stuff, okay? Focus on what you can control and decide right now who you are, okay? And I mean at your core, not everything that happened to you. That's not what I'm asking you. Don't decide who you are based on everything that's happened to you. Decide who you are at your core, okay? Who you want to be. See yourself in your highest and best light. See yourself as the highest version of yourself and decide who you are right now. Write it down, okay? And I'll see you next time on Friday, all right? Again, click the link in my bio, check everything out. And I'm going to put the link for signing up for the seminar. The seminar is going to go April 25th, free. It's a free seminar, April 25th, Saturday, just like this past Saturday. Believe in yourselves. I believe in you, and go get yours. Let's go. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Awesome to be here with you. You guys are the best chat in YouTube. It's a real honor, pleasure, and privilege to be here with all of you guys. You guys